So very good morning to all of you. Yeah. So we will get started. I don't understand the question. Is it possible to increase the resolution of which stream? I don't know which stream you're talking about. The class. So what do you want to increase? Oh, I don't think that's feasible. If you increase the resolution, I don't know whether the chat will go out of the box. So there is a danger of losing the chat. Okay. No, I think we are okay. We should be able to bear with it. Okay. Okay. So today what we do, let me start with the open board.
1 second. Okay.
No, it came from earlier. It's coming in open book only.
Yes, sir.
Restart. Open board. Okay, I think we are fine.
No.
Yeah. So so far we have discussed in the last session. I think we looked at strings, and we did some work with strings. We already know array. I mean, the way strings are is a combination of array and strings. So today we'll go a little different. I think we have one session on strings only.
Yes, sir.
So far. Okay. So I think maybe we should do a couple of more sessions on strings and then move on. Okay. So let's start with a problem today. Now I think in the last session we learned how to measure the length of a string, right? We understood how to measure the length of a string. Now you can also do it by saying strlen. Okay. This is a built-in function which will give you the length of a string. I think we can use that, some of that today. Okay. So I'm sure you know what is a palindrome, right? So we're going to do a few exercises with that. So does everyone know what is a palindrome? Palindrome is, for example, a common example they give is madam. So of course don't write it with the case, M-A-D-A-M. So both sides it is same, right? You start from here, go this side, it is reached the same way. If you go this side and try to read it reverse, it is same. So we are going to write a very common code, but I think you should write it on your own rather than looking at the net. If you look at the net, you will find a lot of solutions for checking whether a string is palindrome or not. So don't look at that, because that way you will be just copying. So going forward, let's understand how to check whether a given string is a palindromic string or not. Okay. So if you are given a string, okay, let me turn to the next page. So you'll be given a string which obviously will come in an array. Now you will have to, so if you have a string like, let's say madam as an example, there are many palindromic strings, none of them come to my mind, and they don't need to be proper words also. So the ASCII 0 will be here. Remember we discussed this about the strings. So we have the ASCII 0 here, and we have MADAM. Now what we want to do is, in order to check whether a string is palindromic or not, now the length of the string could be even or odd. Now you take in the length of the string only these many characters, don't include 0. I think when you say str length, you don't get 0 anyway in the count, the built-in function. Of course you don't have to do that, but that's okay. So what you need is, you need to maintain two indices, I and j. J has to be positioned at the end. Now you know how to position j at the end. End of means end of the string, but not 0. So you can position it using str length, or you can position it like the way we learned yesterday. You can position j. Then what you have to do is, you have to compare what is the character at let's say this is str of I. If the character at str of I is equal to character at str of j, then it means that these two characters are same. So we proceed. If you find it's different, then we say it is not a palindromic string straight away. So how long do you do that? So now you will do I minus minus. If it is same, you will do I plus plus, and j minus minus. So you will come inward. So again it will be equal. Str of I will be equal to str of j, because you have done I minus minus, I plus plus and j minus minus. You have done that. So that's how you shrank to this position. So now your I is here and your j is here. So this is a new I and the new j. Again they are equal. Then you have reached a point where I is equal j. You keep doing this till I is less than j. So till I is less than j, you keep doing it. If you find a difference, if I is equal to j, it really doesn't matter, because you have reached a point where the character has to be the same. Now on the contrary, if you had a string like this, let's take both the strings into consideration, which need not mean anything. Suppose you had only a string like this, and your I, how would your logic change, if at all? So your I would be here and your j would be here. So you would check whether both are same. Yes, if they are same, then do I plus plus, j minus minus. Again they are same. Now now I will become more than j at the next increment. So you stop. See, you keep checking only till I is less than j. If you keep doing that, not even less than or equal to, if you test till I less than j, if you keep checking, because if it's a single character where I equals j, it doesn't matter. Okay. So if I is less than j, str of I and str of j is equal, then you can go on incrementing and on. So once you have a problem, so again it's a for loop, and once you have a problem, you can say like flag equal to 1. Okay, flag equal to 1. Initially the same flag trick you can use. If flag is equal to 1, then you come out of the so whenever you find a difference, you kind of do a break. Okay, you kind of do a break like we have discussed so far. So and outside the for loop, you need only one for loop here. Outside the for loop, you check if flag is equal to 0. That means this condition of inequality was never encountered and it's all equal. So if it's equal, then you say it's a palindrome, or if it's not equal, you write it's not a palindrome. Okay. Again, I am going to say this one more time. So what we are going to do is, we are going to read a string from the user, and then we are going to check whether that string is palindromic or not, and depending on that, we are going to pronounce output saying that this string is palindromic or this string is not palindromic. So that's what we are going to do. So that's what is the logic which we are going to write. Now how are we going to write it? We are going to have I and j. Okay, so we are going to use two indices, I and j. Where is j positioned? J has to be cleverly positioned at the last but one. If this is the last but one index, that is where j has to sit. So this is j, and I has to sit here, and then you have to start a for loop or a while loop. It doesn't matter what you write. I think a while loop is also convenient till so you compare str of I and str of j. If they are equal, you proceed to do I plus plus and j minus minus. And if they are not equal, you just say it is not equal and just come out with flag set to 1. And flag set to 1 means that there was a problem and it is not palindromic, right? If flag was 0 by the time you came out, and how long do you do this? Till I happens to be less than j. Till then you have to keep doing this. And at any point if you see these are different, then you say it is not palindromic. And if it is I equal to less than j, for all the time where I is less than j, it has held true, then your flag will remain 0 and it will pronounce this string as palindromic. Okay. So now you should be able to write this stuff on your own. Please don't copy from the internet. Okay. So I should see str and str as the string. Then I should see I getting used and j getting used. This is just to insist. And I should see the code written more or less in the same way I am, and I should see the flag. Okay, this flag is also important. I want you to use the flag while writing it. Okay, so we will open a practice lab question, and then we will use this question for you to write. And please write it, and then we will check whether you guys are getting it, and we'll proceed. Okay, yeah, you can use strlen, no issues, no problem. How to use strlen? Figure it out. Okay, you just say str length of str, it will give you the length. Okay,
and also that string. Okay.
So no, don't use reversing. That's a clever idea, but don't do reverse and then equate. No, you have to write it this way only. Okay. Dhruv, you must understand at the first go. I have explained it adequately. I'll explain it again, but try to figure out. Okay, because you have to listen carefully and listen well. But anyway, since you are all asking first time, I'll nevertheless explain once again. But I don't generally, I mean, because I thought I explained it reasonably well. But anyway, so for people who need a further explanation, we are going to check whether a string is palindromic or not. Okay, palindromic or not. What is a palindromic string? The one which is equal on both sides. I mean, the reverse and itself is same. So don't use the reverse which we wrote in the last class. Write a fresh code in this way, because you have to learn new techniques. So here, in order to check whether a string is palindromic or not, you have to use two indices, I and j. I should be as usual positioned to the beginning, that is 0. J should be positioned at maybe str length, because that will give -1, because length will give here 5, whereas you will have to be positioned at 4. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you will have to position it accordingly. J has to be positioned accordingly. Then you have to write a while loop. What is the condition for the while loop? While I is less than j, you have to keep doing that. Before that, you have to declare a flag like we normally do. Then you have to check whether this is equal to this. If it is equal, this advances, this precedes. So in a way, this goes this way and this goes this way. And we keep checking. At any point, if we see that there is a mismatch, that means this string is not palindromic till I is less than j. So if there is a mismatch, we just report that it's a mismatch by setting flag equal to 1 and break. Then outside the for loop or while loop, I think better to write a while loop. You check whether the flag is 0 as it is. That means no anomaly was encountered. Anomaly means something strange or different was not encountered. And if flag equal to 1, it means that it is not a palindrome. So you report that. So I'm asking you just to write this code. Okay. So you read the string from the user and report this whether it's palindromic or not. Okay. Take the string from the user and then report it whether it's palindromic or not. Okay. So please try and do it, and we should do it. So we will start the practice lab. It has gone that side. Make it small.
That's it. 7.
Okay, we'll start practice lab 7. Sorry, practice lab 7, please. Yeah, please do it in practice lab 7. Sir, what program should we have to write? Are Baba, now you are asking after Ramayana, you have to write a program to check whether a given string is palindromic or not. This is a classic Rama and Sita kind of thing. After listening to the whole Ramayana, you ask who is Sita. No, just joking. The program that you have to write is, if you have to read a input string, read a string and check whether it is palindromic or not. Okay. And say if it is palindromic, say it is palindromic. If it is not palindromic, say it is not palindromic. And once you are done, please tell us that you are done so that we know. Okay, so two people finished. Okay, we'll wait till about 10:15.
Please keep trying more.
We'll wait till 10:15 and then do. अच्छा, एक बार क्लोज करो. get a warning because maybe you have not included string.h. So you include string.h, the warning will go. Yeah, first we'll see the code and then watch the correct code, and then Vasudev you can look at the code. Okay, we'll wait till 10:15, see if you can correct it. Then we'll discuss and we'll move on to the next. We want more people to do. Student screen ఎట్లా కనిపిస్తుంది? Students, are they able to see what we have written? Then we can show them. No, instead of that, we can show them what we wrote now. Open Word. Okay. No, this is better. No? Yes.
In terms of until fever or cold.
We can start. Okay, so quite a few people are able to do. Somebody is having trouble. We'll look at it. First, let's discuss the solution. Let's look at who has done it first. Who first?
Sai Krishna. Sai Krishna.
Karnati Sai Krishna.
Karnataka.
There is no refresh.
Only Karnataka Sai Krishna.
మరి గ్రీన్ రావాలి ఇప్పుడు.
Check Karnataka. అక్కడ ఉంది పైన. Okay, so we are going by the way they said done. So let's look at the code and analyze how it goes. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you have used a for loop. Nothing wrong in it, but it's easier to do with a while loop. But it's okay. So str100 ij, and you're using a flag. Very good. Enter the string. Scanf percentages str. You're reading a string. J is equal to, this is important. Okay. Str length of str will give the length, but you want, but remember the indices are numbered from 0, so you have to do length -1, and it does not include the null character. Okay. So if you have a string like madam, actually we know that when it is stored there is a \0 or ASCII 0 after that, we know that. But if you look at this, what is str_ln return? Str_ln of madam, sorry, the string madam will give 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So whereas, but in the array where you need to position is, this is M A D A M, and then there is a \0, so I'll write it as ASCII 0. So you need to position here, and what is the index of this? 0, 1, 2, 4. So this is correct. Str_ln of str will give 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So this is where your j is going to sit. And I, as I guess, will be starting at this point. So I will be 0 to start with. And how long will you keep looping? Till I is less than j. And every time I plus plus will be done and j minus minus will be done. Okay, very good. So if str of I not equal to str of j, that is, you find an anomaly. If it is equal, don't bother. If it is not equal, then bother. So flag becomes 1 and break, because there is no point going forward, because you found an anomaly. You found that at least one thing in the beginning is not equal to 1 at the end. So you say flag equal to 1 and you do a break. Break will take you out of the for loop. Otherwise what you do? You do j minus minus, and then your I will be automatically incremental. So you compare the next character with the next forward character with the next backward character. This j minus minus is also very good. So if flag remains as 0, that is what it started with, that means we never found this kind of an anomaly, and we can say that the given string is a palindrome. Else we say the given string is not a palindrome. Okay. So we need to correct that. Both sides you can't have. So this is what is a good code. If you make this change, this is a good code. So let's make the change for you and do it. Okay. So we'll refresh. Sorry, erase this, and then we will try it out with your code with the change. Okay. So let's go into run. Okay, you have already changed it. Good. So we will run it and see. So we'll give a palindromic string first. MADAM. And we'll report the given string is a palindrome. Good. Then we'll give a string which is not palindromic. So let's say KMIT, which is in no way palindromic. Yeah. So this given string is not palindromic. So this is how it would go and do it. So this is good code. Only thing is, my recommendation would be, since you are working with I and J both, you might want to consider converting this into a while loop. So, so the while loop could go something like this: while I less than j, and it would proceed with the similar code. And at the end of it, I would this code would remain as it is, and then I would say I plus plus and j I plus plus and j minus minus, like you have done. Okay, this could be yet another way. This is absolutely okay, but this would be neater in this case, because, or you could accommodate I and j both here. You can accommodate that in the for loop itself. This looks kind of little ugly because you can do j minus minus here, and say j is equal to sa. So okay, since we are on that topic, how could I write this using a for? Probably you should know. The way I could write it, let me rub this off, using a for.
For is still
Huh?
using while.
No, using for, if they want to write with the similar construct.
Okay.
So if you want, you can write it like this, okay, using for I equal to 0, comma, j is equal to,
Directly.
you can use both the indexes here and initialize them, strlen of str minus 1. So this will be your initial condition. Remember, I have put a comma, not a semicolon. Then I have the check condition. There is a semicolon now. Say I say I less than j. Again a semicolon, and then I say I plus plus and comma j minus minus. Okay. So if you see comma, they are both initial conditions. So there are two initial conditions and two incrementing conditions also. Increment or decrement doesn't matter. So you say I is equal to I plus 1, j is equal to j minus 1 also. It will work the same way. And your test condition is I should be less than j. Till then you will remain in the for loop. So then you can take away this line and you can take away this line and kind of fuse that into one. So that is a more elegant way if you want to write a for loop. Again, I'm not saying that you should write it like that. You can write it either way, but this is also possible to do. Okay. So now we will look at maybe one more code for the sake of completeness. Let's look at the next guy who has done this. Okay, so we just note down who is there. Okay, no, let's do it like this. Let's see somebody who is struggling.
Sai Gautam.
Sai Gautam.
Okay, somebody who is struggling is Sai Gautam. Struggling in the sense trying but not getting. Okay. So okay, let's see. Please enter the word you want to check. Okay, let's go line by line and see if we can help him. Scanf while str of I not equal to \0. I don't know what is your intention.
That's not the condition.
While str I is equal to 0, not equal to 0, strj not equal to \0. Why would you do that? If str of I and str of j,
then has to write equal, not equal 0.
No, and this logic, j is not in the beginning, right? J is at
That's the reason.
J is in the beginning. What is the use of comparing? You have to compare first with the last. J, your I is in the beginning, which is fine.
That is fine, sir.
And you can go on. See, this is not the way you would write a loop. Please position I in the beginning, j at the end. Okay, and then do it.
Also, yes, sir.
So you have not positioned your I and j correctly, and increasing both won't do it. See, you want to check whether a string is palindromic, right? So if your I is positioned here, your j should be positioned here, and then you have to check this with this. This kind of condition won't help. So in order to position your j here, you can either go all the way up and then come back, or you can use strlen. I have told you better to use strlen. That's easy. So that's how you have to do. Now this will, what will this do? Your I and J
Both
are
are-
both at the beginning, and then you are chasing each other. Okay. If str of I equal str, it will be equal only. You're comparing.
Same gap.
For each value of I, the J will no, your while loop will run, I don't know, look something strange. You know what will happen? Why for str of I, J is also 0, so J will not compare, and your while loop is ending here, in which neither I is increasing nor J is increasing. So this will keep going in a loop. Okay. And if it is not equal, it will just say flag and break. And if it is equal, what will you do? Which it will be.
And also is saying flag plus plus.
No, this is not going to work. You have to position I and J correctly. Okay. So let's see if somebody else needs our help.
Help.
Location.
Location.
Rabbit. Okay, we will just put another one thing we'll look because we have to move on.
Venkata location.
Venkat size.
Location.
Location.
Venkat Lokesh.
Lokesh Kumar.
This is Yarra Lokesh, not Venkat Lokesh.
Correct time.
Who was needing help?
Venkata location.
Nikhil Guru Venkatesh. Okay, we'll look at one more. But please watch when we are correcting somebody else's code. It is not just meant for him, it is meant for everyone. Arey Baba, Nikhil Guru bole to go to the top and type. Nikhil, KH, Nikhil Guru Venkatesh. Let's see his code. Okay. So, for I equal to 0, I less than J, I is equal to I plus 1. Then your J has to, see, position your J before you start this journey. You are positioning it every time. J is equal to, this positioning is correct, but you have to do it before and then start the while loop. In the while loop, don't change J. J is greater than strlen. J equal to J minus 1. Now this won't work because what will happen is, if you have, let's take, just run it on your own also. You have madam. So your I will be here. Okay. Then what will your J be? J will be here. Okay. That is correct. Then wherever you are going to go to, then if str of I is not equal to this, you flag. Now what will happen? Your J will increase. It is equal. Okay, first time it is equal. Now your J will decrease because of this. J will come here. Where will I go? I will be still here, no? Because until you come out of this loop, so because it's equal, it didn't come out of this loop. It will go back and do this loop again, right? You don't need two for loops for first. You need only one for loop. You position your I and J before you enter the for loop, not afterwards. Now you're here again and again repositioning J. It's wrong. So you position your J outside and I also is of course 0. Then you test. So you set this condition outside here, and then you just write one loop which will check whether it's which will run till I is less than J. So here you just understand what will happen here. I will be 0, your J will be initially here, but then if it is not equal, let's say it's equal, then your I will not change. Your J only will keep changing. I and J should change together. Here your I will be outside and J will be changing. J will be changing like this. and I will remain wherever it is. It will till you finish this. I won't change. Okay, so write only one for loop and make I point here and j point here. Okay. Okay, we will, I think, move on. Please listen carefully and think logically. Okay. Okay, I think we will have to move on because otherwise we will be doing debugging only of people's code. So let's move on. Okay, now listen to this question. Okay, you are given an array of numbers, let's say, or it could be any array, but let's pretend it's an array of numbers. Okay, it's an array of let's say 1, 7, 8, 9, and let's say 11 and 12. So let's say this is an array, some array. Now let's say I ask you to knock out an element 8 from it. Okay, so if I ask you to knock out 8 from it, what should happen? What should happen is, it should look like now 9, 1, 7, 9, 11, 12, right? It should look like this: 1, 7, 9, 11, 12. 8 should be knocked out. So this involves two things. Okay, one is find where 8 is. Okay, so find the index of the element to be deleted. Element to be deleted. So I'll give you two things. I'll give you the array and I'll tell you the number of elements. I'll give you the array and I'll then tell you which element of that array has to go. So I say 8. So find the index. So the 8 is going to be deleted. You have to find out the index of the element to be deleted. What is the index of 8? 0, 1, 2. So in this case, it is equal to 2, which you have to find out because you will be given only 8 and you have to find out the index for 2, for 8, which is 2. So now you have to create a new array wherein you have to skip this element and copy the remaining elements here. So you have to create a new array of again n minus 1 or whatever. Anyway, it will get created for n minus 1 only. I mean, it will be n minus 1. So of course there are a lot of other things which we are not using. So find the index of the element to be deleted. Now what you will do is you will create a fresh array, or you can create in the same array also. Let's do it by creating a fresh array first, and then let's do it with doing it in the same array. It doesn't matter. So in the fresh array, what will you do? You know which element has to be deleted, which index has to be skipped. So then create another array, or you can create another array straight away also. But I think you should do it this way because this will help us for our next code where we have to find out the index of the element to be deleted, because all elements after that have to be moved one step back. Okay, so it is better to know index of the array. So okay, right now I'm making it simple. We'll do the little more trickier one after this. So create another array so you can create that array before only, which has all elements, of the first array. Let's call it A and let's call this B, which has all the elements of A except the element at index equal to 2. Okay, except that element, it has all. So that is how your B array will be created. Okay, so this is a very easy question. You have to create two arrays, and first array you will create, you take the elements, then you'll ask which element has to be deleted, then find out the index of that element. Please do it that way because then I can continue this code. And then we create another array with all which has all the elements of A except the element at index equal to 2. Okay, so that is what I would like you to do, and then we will do a little more complicated version of this copying where we will not create another array but we'll do it with the same array. Okay, so let's do it at one step at a time. So are you clear what I want you to do? Let's go to the chat. Are you clear what we want to do? Yeah. Now I'll give you which element has to be deleted. I mean, you take from the user which element has to be deleted and create another array which does not have that element. But while doing that, find out the index of the element. Don't just create another array without that element, but find the index of that element which needs to be deleted and then do it. Okay. So I think you should be able to do it, because by now, can we use continue without printing? Yeah, you can do. Why not? Why not? But ideally you should create a separate array. You can skip the element which has that index. Okay. Otherwise you assign it. You can use continue nevertheless. Okay. Please do it under practice lab 8, and we will then modify this practice lab 8 to a little more advanced exercise right away after you do this. So please finish this very carefully. Elements are considered to be unique. Yes, you can assume that elements are unique. No repeats. Okay. No, we will not give the array. You take the array from the user first. Take the n. Please take n from the user first. Then read the array of n elements, and then take which element has to be deleted. So you need to ask the user for the size of the array, for the elements of the array, and which element has to be deleted, and depending on that, print the B array. Okay. Elements can be considered to be unique. Yes. Practice lab 8. Practice lab 8, please. Please do it little fast so that we can move on.
Okay.
See who has done? Anybody? Huh?
C/7.
Any element that is not anything x2 background element.
Okay, so
We check.
okay, some people have done. Let's see what they have done, and we'll move on. This actually we want to enhance this question, so not many people have done. Okay, so we are seeing Aditya's code.
That is not in the green colors.
No, if we have submitted, it's okay. We tested it. No, this Aditya. No.
Aditya Reddy.
Let's see. Oh, I didn't ask a string, Baba. Baba, you have to learn to listen carefully. I never asked for a string. Okay, you are getting a character in a string. Okay. string is continue, printf. No, and I didn't want it to be printed without that. No, misunderstood the question, please. First of all, I want an array of numbers. And second, I want you to create another array which doesn't have that number which I am going to list. So you first accept this array of numbers. So accept n, accept the array of numbers. Then ask for the number which has to be deleted. Then go through the array. If you have that number, go through this array. If you have that number, find out its index, and then write another thing to detect whether that index is not there and copy it here. Okay. So because the reason I am writing it is because I need it for the next one. Okay. Let me see if somebody else has a code. Yeah. Rub this. Doesn't matter. It is okay if you misunderstand. In Masudev. Okay. Let's check. this looks more okay. Okay. So enter the number of elements to be read. Okay. Enter the elements. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Then enter the element to be removed. Okay, very good. R. Then the updated array is, I don't want to print it. Till this file, it is very good. Now, if aj is not equal to r, print this and then print backslash n. No, I didn't want it to be printed. I want you to create another array, which I said array b, and do it. So let's do this because he has got most of the code right. I will tell you what I wanted, okay, and then we'll proceed from there. Okay, you run this code. We'll edit your code, Vasudev, because most of it is you got it right. So we will edit it from that point onwards. We'll take it off and we'll write what I had intended to do. First of all, I had intended to create another array, and it's an array of integers, okay, not of characters. So we'll change that also. Make it an array of integers. Integer, Baba.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. This is an array of integers. Both are arrays of integers. You are reading scanf %d, which is fine. And enter the element to be removed is also fine. You've got r. R is a element to be removed. Okay. So now we'll create an array. So we have to find out the index of r in A. That is, where is r? It's at index 0, 1, 2, whatever it is. So we have to find out where r is in A. Okay, array A. So we are going to do a basic search. So for I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. So let's declare for convenience another variable called ri, that is remove index. At the top, let's create one variable called ri. No, next line. Create a variable called ri. That is the to be removed elements index, comma. Take it. So if don't unnecessarily leave space, cut away a line. If ARR of I equal to R, equal R, then we'll remember that index which needs to go in Ri. So Ri is equal to I. Okay. And we do a break. Because once we get it, there is no need to continue with the loop. So I hope this for loop makes sense to all of you. This is the for loop which we are writing. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. If ARR of I is equal to R, which you have read, Ri is equal to I. I am remembering the index. Okay, Ri is the index of the element. Is the index. Index means the position. Index of element to be removed. Okay. So Ri is the index of the element to be removed, and then I break because I've got the element. There's no point in continuing the loop. Okay, and we said there are no duplicates. So I've got a good for loop, and now I'll write the loop for B with taking all the elements of ARR of A. Oh, this is ARR of I. This is A of I. Sorry,
We had to.
okay, this is not ARR of I, this is A of I. There is, okay. And then we have to write the B. Now we will have to build the B. So let's write the B for int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Now here if you want you can use continue. If I is equal to Ri, equal Ri, we shouldn't do anything, we should continue. I mean, not needed to do it this way, but it's okay, just to show that you could use continue. Because if I is equal to Ri, I don't want to copy that element into B. Otherwise,
So we have to ask.
no, I have to use a J for B, which I have to put J equal to 0. We can put there, No, Baba, I is also needed, j is also needed. J will serve as the index in the second array, okay, in the B array, okay. So
B of
no,
I equal
below that, right? Below the continue, below the for loop, no, Baba. If you have that is there, we just don't do anything, okay. Next line after this,
B of I equal
B of j,
J equal
B of j equal to A of
A of
I,
I.
and we have to do I plus j plus plus. I plus plus already is being done, or you can club it there. You can club it there, comma j plus plus. Okay. Okay. I hope you are understanding what is happening. Let me just say it again, and you guys have to now understand, Baba. Can't be slow. Okay. See what we did. See what we did. We found out which is the element, index of the element to be removed. Then we went through the loop for I equal to 0, j equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, j plus plus, because j will follow one index less, but doesn't matter. I use j separately. So if I is equal to Ri, continue, I won't do this, Bj is equal to Ai, then I will increase and j will increase. So only for this element, the element will not be copied. Okay, but there is a small problem here. Okay, what's going to happen is I is going to increase every time, and j is also going to increase. No, this is okay, I think. So if I is equal to Ri, I don't do anything, and then it goes to I plus plus.
skipping only that
But
part.
the j plus plus will also happen at the end, which it should. So this action won't happen, and I will go on increasing. Yes, j will also go on increasing. Then let's see we get the array or not. Okay. We will have to print the array, and it will have n minus 1 elements. So for I less than n minus 1. Let's see whether we got it right. Yeah, B of.
Indexing and
So we got that code.
close.
So let's see, and then we'll discuss it a bit, and then we'll move to the next question. Enter the number of elements to be printed 5. So we'll say 10, 20, 30, 40. 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. And the element we want to delete is 30. And we didn't print it correctly, but it's all gone garbled. Updated array is 10, 20, then some junk.
Garbage.
Why did that happen?
After 20. Oh, this is the problem.
Yeah, I know, but why? So B
You are
of
saying whenever Ri is matched with I, that's saying continue.
So we are not assigning Bj to Aj,
Yes, sir.
Ai. So it will go.
After that condition, skipping everything.
Correct.
This assignment is not taking place.
Yeah, it won't happen. Correct. So that is what we don't want it to happen, no? So if I is equal to Ri, that element has to be skipped.
Yes, sir.
And Bj is equal to A of I. So why is it becoming a problem? So A of I equal
B
to
of
R.
E
Ri is equal to
I.
I break. Then I is equal to Ri. Some Bj is equal to I. Then I will increase. Okay. The mistake is when I say continue, I will also increase and J will also increase, whereas J has to increase only there. No, remove it from there. Okay, I'll explain why it is happening. Okay, let's see now, and then I'll explain why the error is coming. Okay, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Enter the element to be removed, 30. Yeah, now it's okay. Only thing is we didn't print the backslash. We should print a backslash or a space. This is fine. Now, if you want, we'll run it again so that you see it clearly. 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then 30, and then it came correct. So what was the error I was making when I wrote the earlier code? Let me just explain. See, I had put the J++ here, if you recollect, and I was getting garbage. That is wrong. That was my mistake. So I plus I had put comma J++. What would have happened? What was the problem there is, if I is equal to Ri, then I was doing a continue. What will continue do? Take me to the end of the for loop, and it will do both I++ and J++ there also. Whereas what I want to do is, in case the element is not to be copied, only the I thing has to be skipped. The J has to be not skipped. Here it was skipping the J also, because it was doing a continue, it was going and doing J++ also. In that case, J++ should not be done. J++ should be done only when there is an assignment. I have to assign this value and then only do J++. It should not happen by default. It was happening in the case of continue also, that it was increasing J++. Because continue, it will take it directly to the end of the for loop, and it will do I++ and J++. So blindly, I was doing J++. Whereas, so what was happening? So 10 was correct, 10, then 20 was correct. After that, when 30 was there, this value was nothing, and then J, so 0, 1, 2, this was unfilled, uninitialized in J. So there was some garbage sitting here, and then 3 would have directly the value 30, sorry, not 30, sorry, 40 and 50. This is what was fine, but this had a garbage in between. Okay, so this garbage was coming in because I incremented J blindly. In case of finding an index, I should only increment I, continue, which will now what I did, I said this will happen only when this assignment happens. Otherwise, this won't happen. If I put it here, it will happen even in this case where only I should get incremented, not J. J was blindly getting incremented, and I was getting a garbage here. Okay, so these mistakes teach you quite a bit. So this is what was happening. Okay, does everybody understand what's going on? Okay, did you understand the mistake? Yeah. Okay, what's wrong in my code? We will have to do that again. We can do it in a single for loop also. Okay. Now, now I'm coming there. Harish, you just got the Harshit. You got the question here. Okay. Yeah. Now, okay. Somebody is asking 2-3 times. No, I'll not correct it now, because let me go ahead and then correct it. Okay. Some of it you have to grasp on your own. Okay, we cannot go on correcting code. Okay, so now here is a question, and you do this, and then I will see if you are not able to do or not. Okay, so you have to take this array. Sorry. This one, right?
Pen, sir. Wait, sir.
Okay.
This is, I'll move this.
Okay, now look at it carefully, what I want you to do. So, like in the previous case, we want to build an array. So, let's say our array is 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So, this is my array. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, this is my original array. Now, I don't want a B. Right now, we had an A and we had a B separately. Okay, which we copied some of the element which was not to be deleted, which was to be deleted. We removed that. So now, if I say 30 has to be deleted, okay, what I should do is I should find out where 30 is first. Okay, as I did earlier. Remember, I had that index Ri, so Ri will be equal to 2, which is the index to be removed. Till then, the problem is similar to the earlier one. That is, you have to remove the element 30 from this array, which you have asked the user to do. So you have to remove the 30. Then, I don't want a B array to be used. Then what you should do is, you know which element onwards have to be removed. So then what you should do is, you should start writing a for loop. Okay, we want the elements to move forward from this point onwards. So I'll say I is equal to Ri. Okay, I'm going to start from here, not from here. I'm going to start from here, and I'm going to go up till the end. So till I is less than n. I'm going to start here and I'm going to go till less than n. So 0, 1, 2. This is 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go through all of that. And so should I start at this or I should start at this plus 1? Because I have to copy, or I can copy the next element. Let's write it. I plus plus. Let's try and write it. Something like this. Then what I need is these elements should shift backward. So A of I should be occupied by A of I plus 1.
N is wrong, sir.
N is wrong? Why?
No, the size, from there is no elements to go to that
no, that is true. So I should be less than n. No, think. This is going to go, so I is less than n.
So let's say n is 5.
So if n is
from there
5,
how it goes to 5?
So R is, so let's test it with this, whether this will work. This is 2. N is 5, yes. So this is 2. So it will start from A of 2 will be assigned to A of 3. In A of 2, A of 3 will sit. Then I will increase. A of 3 will have A of 4. A of 2 will have A of 3, and now I will become 4. Okay. Now we have to say, now we have to stop. So we have to stop one step earlier. Good. So I'll say n minus 1 because I have to go, because I'm going one step more and pulling it back. I have to go only till that particular point and pull the next element back. Correct. So I have to do in the same array. So I hope, this you have to play with yourself. I've given you basically the code. So you have to find out which element has to be deleted. You are given an original array. Don't create another array. Okay, in the same array. So so this is, let's say, your original array. You find out which element has to be deleted. Ask the user which element has to be deleted. Find out the index of that element. That is a Ri. So if he says 30, then Ri is 2, and accordingly. Then move from I is equal to Ri up to I less than n minus 1. And say I plus plus, and write AI is equal to AI plus 1. So you are pulling it back. So you are going I 1 less than the end. You will not go up to here. You have to go here because this element anyway is going to come here. Okay. A4 is going to go to A3. So you have to go only up to n minus 1, not up to n. That is one step earlier. So you have to write this, and then you have to display A. Display what is there in A. How many elements will be there in A now? It will be n minus 1. Okay. You have to display only up to n minus 1, because this value will still be there, and you might want to make it 0 or something. Okay. Because what will happen is the array will look like this. Okay. Actually, it will be 10, 20, 40, 50 and 50. This will also be there. So we know that the relevant array is only n minus 1. So you should take care of it in printing. That is best. Or you should make this 0, or both. So ideally you should take it care, because now you have only n minus 1 elements. Initially you had 5, now you have 4. So when you display, you don't care. This you treat as junk. Okay. Print only these many. So this is how you get rid of an array, an element in an array, without creating another array. Okay. So what I suggest is you can modify this code itself. So let's give you this code. What we wrote. Okay. No. Don't do that way. Okay. You have done it already. Okay. For some people who have not done it, we will. No, they are doing it in that same practice lab.
We'll activate one.
No, but then they will have to shift. Okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. So we will give you this code. You please edit this code. Okay. Don't write your own code, please. I should have said that before. Don't write your own code. Edit this code which we are giving you to use a single array. No A and B. So we'll give you this in a different practice lab. We are just creating another practice lab which has this code already. So just a minute. We'll give you that practice lab in a moment. We're just doing that. So just hold on for a moment and then you can start.
We have given practice lab 9.
Okay. Please edit practice lab 9. Please edit practice lab 9. We have enabled.
Will enable.
We have not enabled. Okay. We'll enable practice lab 9. Okay. We have enabled practice lab 9. Please make changes to practice lab 9 to accommodate one array and tell me when you are done. No, don't do that. That's what I'm suggesting. Do it in a 9.
9.
Please edit practice lab 9. Make your changes. It doesn't matter if you wrote different as long as you're getting the spirit. No, make changes to this code, the code we have given you. You should learn that also. How do you change existing code? Okay, we'll show you the screen. No, not this.
Open board.
Okay, please go ahead and edit practice lab 4. Sorry, practice lab 9.
Line 9.
Practice lab 9. Make the changes. ఈ క్లాస్ ఎప్పటి వరకు ఉంది
11:20. 11:20. More 10 minutes. Slow.
Please make changes to practice lab 9. We have given you practice lab 9 with some code that we just typed in. మరి ఏం చెప్తున్నావు ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది ఏం కాలేజ్
నెక్స్ట్ మంత్
నెక్స్ట్ మంత్ అంటే
నెక్స్ట్ మంత్ ఫస్ట్
ఫిబ్రవరి 1st స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందా So some people have finished. We'll look at code.
Arvind Agarwal.
Let's try somebody new. Arvind Agarwal. Okay. So let's see Arvind Agarwal's code. Okay. The initial code is the same. Okay, go down. Okay. So I is equal to Ri, I less than n minus 1, I plus plus, Ai is equal to Ai plus 1. No, you don't need this, Baba. This is an array. Why do you have to put this? This is for strings, please. Good that you made this mistake. We don't need this. And we have to go till n minus 1. I less than n minus 1. See, this is needed for strings. It's an integer array. For integer array, you don't need this. You shouldn't do this. Okay. Only for strings we need to terminate it. Okay. So let's look at somebody else's code.
Anirudh Joshi.
Anirudh. Okay, Anirudh Joshi. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Oh no, you're assuming that no, only that element should go, Baba.
How is R comes?
No, how is R? You're just copying AI to AI plus 1. No. No. This is not what we wanted. We wanted you to do Ri, and first you should use R code. Unless you have written something below. No. You have to find out the Ri first. Guys, learn to listen, Baba.
Rohit.
Who is it?
Rohit.
Okay, Madipati Rohit. Okay, yeah, fine. Ri. If I don't want you to use another array. No. I don't want you to. Please listen, guys. We don't want you to use another array. We don't want a B. Otherwise, we could have done it other way. A is equal to Ri, Bi is equal to Ai minus 1. No, and we don't want Bi. We want the same array and we want the elements to shift back. Okay. So this is not what we want either. I think you people are not listening correctly. One of the things in computer science is to listen what the user wants. Okay. Let's pick some more.
Rohit.
I just looked at Rohit. Huh?
Yes, sir. No. Sai Devansh.
Sai
Devansh.
Devansh. Okay.
In C section of it.
Let's look at Sai Devansh. Yeah, go down.
He is over section.
Okay. Let's see whether this works. If AI is equal to
Equal to
Why is it?
Acha, J, this will work, I think. I is equal to Ri. Continue. You don't copy that. Aj is equal to AI.
little option.
J plus plus, and only at that point J goes up, and only on this point I goes up. Okay, so Aj and AI, this will work actually. Okay. Because I is equal to Ri, that element will not be copied. So Aj, so you made changes to the same
arrow
Same.
instead of taking
same code. Okay. So okay, this will work. So let's see whether it works. Five, 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, okay, then 30, then correct, the updated array is okay, this is fine, this will work, okay. Maybe somebody else. Ashrit, you're not Ashrit. Ashrit. Fullakanti adi. Ashrit ready. Okay. So this is fine. Yeah. I is equal to Ri. This is what we wrote. So this is fine. I is equal to Ri, I less than n minus 1, I plus plus, okay, AI is equal to AI plus 1, this is perfect, this will work, no problem. This is what I wanted, because all the elements after Ri have to be pushed back, because that is guy is going to go, so he has to be substituted. Okay, so this is one technique. Okay. Now I think we have reached the end of this session. Okay, mine is a lot different, but it worked. Okay, we will last, since we have some time, we'll check Srikar's code. Srikar. Okay, Apani Srikar. Okay, let's look at his code. I is equal to Ri. No, it's very similar, no?
Yes, sir.
A is equal to Ri, I less than n minus 1, AI is equal to AI plus 1. Okay.
How is getting Ri?
Ri, how are you getting Ri? Ri is not set at all, no? No, this won't work. If it has worked, it's by fluke. Ri is not getting set at all, no? You're saying I is equal to Ri. Ri is uninitialized, so it will start at 0. Ri has to be set. You have to find out which element has to be deleted. You have to go through the array, find out which element to be deleted. No? Then you have to write this code. First you have to set Ri. You are scanning the element, but you are not identifying where that element is in that array. So you have to identify where the element is in the array, get Ri, and then write this code. Okay. Okay. Maybe one last person. So Abhinay Reddy. Abhinay Reddy. Are there two Abhinay Reddys?
Same, sir. Same Abhinay Reddy.
Okay. Abhinay Reddy Kerala. Okay. So if AI, you are setting Ri, correct. Now, okay, let's see, this might work. So you are setting Ri correctly. This is your Ri. I equal to 0, I less than. If I is equal to Ri, you don't do anything. And the same loop again. Why is there a nested for loop here? You don't need a nested for loop. You have to go through the loop only once. This will again start. This loop is correct by itself. You don't need this loop at all. You don't need this at all. If I is equal to Ri, continue. No.
No need.
You are skipping that. No. Again, you are starting with I is equal to Ri. This is not. It may work because there is redundancy. This is all redundant stuff. Only this is needed. I mean, this loop is needed. That's all. Okay. I think we have had some good exercises. So we will proceed in the next session with doing something else. Okay. We will progress and move. Okay. So we will